What do I do as a futurist? This is a question I also get fairly frequently from people. What do I do? Well, I do some research, I do some writing, I speak to groups of all sizes, and I've been fortunate enough to speak to groups in many parts of the world about the future. I focus mostly on personal futures because that's what my research was. I spent about 5 years doing research on futures methods. When I went to the University of Houston, Clear Lake, we studied methods that the large organizations had developed. Now, like many things, keep in mind, computers were originally designed for big businesses, for governments, for the military. Then they trickled down for individuals. Now, the world has changed because of computers. We can wear a computer on our wrist or carry it in our pocket. And it has more power than some of the computers that filled rooms a few decades ago. Well, future studies is just like that. The methods that I learned at the University of Houston, Clear Lake, were about big business, developed by big business. And they spent the necessary money to learn how these methods work. So everything I learned was for very large businesses. When I graduated, I decided I wanted to make these methods available for individuals because we discussed this in our classes. This is stuff everybody should know how to do. So just like the big computers were scaled down to personal computers, I took the methods of Foresight and Futures Studies and scaled them down to one person, one individual. The interesting thing about that process that I didn't even think of at the time is that once you've scaled it down to fit one individual, you can scale it back up. So it's a perfect learning tool for understanding foresight and future studies, understanding the future. Because as an individual, you learn about how these methods work in your life, then you can scale them up to fit a small business, a medium business, or a very large business. So that's what I do. I write books, I write workbooks. I had my books translated by friends who are also futurists into a number of languages. And I'm very pleased to say that thousands of people have read my books and my workbooks. My workbooks are downloadable from my website, personalfutures.net. They're free. Anybody can access them, and thousands of people do. I hesitate to say thousands every month, but it's approaching that number. So that's what I'm after. That's what I'm doing everything for now, is to get these methods out to the rest of the world. That's 5 billion people to go.